Hey, welcome back, parents. It's Craig from painlessparenting.com, the author of Painless Parenting. You can find that book on Amazon or you can go to my website. Today I got a quick tip, but it's a very deep, most important thing that a parent or anyone working with children can learn and practice in their life, and that's this. The child's behavior must be separated from the child. This is critical. When you first start to practice this, it's going to be very challenging, especially if you've been making your child wrong and using shame as a way to motivate them or get them to stop a specific behavior. So we'll talk about, in other videos, we're going to talk about disciplining children and all kinds of other stuff. But today, specifically, I want to talk about the importance of separating the child from their behavior. So say I'm working with a group of children and one of the kids hits another child, right? Now, instinctively, we feel like, attacking the child, not physically, or maybe, I don't know, but for me, in our human brain, there's this thing called the amygdala. It's in charge of fight or flight. So when we're challenged with a situation like a child hitting another child, our first instinct is to engage and physically stop this, or to run away from it and hope it goes away. Okay? That first instinct, that first responder is not always useful or helpful, because sometimes we get locked into that, and then we end up in an unhealthy relationship with our children to where we're always stuck in fighting or we're always stuck in running away. So say we see this, for example, a child hits another child, right? Or your daughter hits the son, or son hits the daughter. So you don't want to attack the child. You want to understand what's really going on is that this is a strategy that your child's using. That's all. They don't know any better in most cases, or they got locked into a bad habit. So you don't want to attack the child. You're such a bad girl, or you're such a bad boy. This is terrible what you did. This is shaming, and it makes children feel really bad, but it's coming from you. It's like you're attacking them. In Japan, where I work and I live, people say, who's bad, who's bad, who's bad. They bully children, like in Japanese, they say, dare ga warui. That means, who's bad? And the child looks really shameful. It's like, me, I'm bad. And the mother said, you're not going to do that again, right? No. This is shame-based. And what shame-based does to a child is turns them into liars, and they hide from their parents, and they create a facade that they present to their parents, but that's not who they truly are. So it's like their personality splits, and they lie to their parents, and they don't engage fully from a heartfelt level with their parents anymore because they're afraid of being shamed. So I could go on and on and on, talk about this forever, but the key point today that I really want to share with you is you got to separate the child from the behavior, and I'll show you how to do that. So when I want to separate the child from the behavior, when a child does something that I know it's not good for the child, it's not good for me, it's not good for the greater good, I just tell the child, look, hey, stop. I love you, I don't like that. This is bad. This here is not good for you, it's not good for me, it's not good for anyone. We can't do this anymore. You, I love you. You're great. This, no. This is very bad. We can't do this anymore. Okay? So the consequence when you do this is A, B, C, X, Y, Z, or whatever the consequence is. And I'm sorry, but you can't do that, and it's not good. Okay? Okay. So this is a very important, critical conversation. And it's fast and it's to the point, and you don't stare in the child's eyes and say, this is bad. You're good. I like you. This is bad. They can feel that they can feel being judged, right? So you don't want to do that. You got to separate the child from the behavior. Same thing in a work environment. Think about your office. If you work for, your manager tells you, he's constantly telling you you're bad, or this is wrong and it's all your fault, or whatever. It's serving that person's ego and giving him a little gratification initially for the uncomfortable feeling that he has, but it's really not doing anyone any good, right? And you'll soon be looking for a new job, right? Well, with our children, they can't look for a new parent. What they do is they disassociate. They start to lie to their parents, and they start to hide from their parents, and they just disconnect. Now, if your child disconnects and your child starts to lie and they build a wall between you and them, you can't influence them no more. You can't love them fully. You can't raise them fully. You're limited. Your hands are tied behind your back. So I want to prevent that. Because if that happens, you're going to be in a gridlock with your child, and it's really unhealthy, right? So the big rule, the main point today is separate the behavior from the child. Very, very important. Now, when you give the consequence for the bad behavior, they're not going to like you, and that's okay. You gotta make peace with your children not liking you. What I like to do is I like to address that. So they get all upset and mad because they have some consequence now for their bad behavior, and I just tell them, hey, look, I'm sorry that you have to do this, and you probably don't like me right now, and that's okay. When I went through this with my parents, I didn't like them, so it's okay. They'll be fine the next day. But what you never want to do is be vindictive about the consequence. Like you wouldn't have to have this consequence if you didn't hit Johnny or whatever. This is like antagonizing, poking, turning up the heat on a child that already feels bad about having to deal with the consequences of their actions, right? So the metaphor is to do it with tears in your eyes. Now you don't have to cry, obviously, but let your child know, look, I'm really sorry. And don't say it like this. Look, I'm really sorry that you have to. No. It's like, look, I'm really sorry that you have to have this consequence, and it is what it is. And I hope that we learn and we grow, and this doesn't continue. So because this behavior is bad. I love you. You're great, but this behavior, we can't have this anymore. It's very peaceful and heart-based and centered. And it is what it is, and they have to get used to that. Their bad behavior is going to have consequences, and just let it be. That's it. So I like to joke with kids when they're acting up and they're doing something bad that doesn't necessarily come with any big kind of consequences. I'll just be like, oh, stop. Please don't do that. This isn't good. You want to avoid, I don't like that. Because now you're making it about you. This isn't good. This isn't good for anyone. I love you. I love you with all my heart. You're the best. You're great. This right here, no. We're going to stop that. Thank you. Boop. Finished. That's how fast it is. So as parents, we're planting seeds. We're not directly controlling. We're planting seeds. That's it. And it's quick. Boop, boop, boop. And then I add thank you at the end. And we're moving on to something else. And then they start to think and reflect on their behavior. Never give a child an opportunity to reflect on your behavior as a parent, because it's the distraction to look within at their own actions. And human beings love to look for distractions to avoid themselves. We do it all the time. The news knows this, and they play us. They point out everything else, look at all this stuff, and we don't have to look at our own stuff. We want to create an environment and speak to our children in a way to where they look at their own stuff. And not in a judgmental way, but just to look, hey, have a look, be aware of what's going on here, okay? Separate the child from the behavior. Critical. And to practice this, to get this going today, the slightest little thing that your child does that is unacceptable meaning it's not really good for them, it's not really good for you, it's not really good for the greater good, stop them immediately. Hey, stop. We don't like, this isn't good. This isn't good for us. I love you, but stop this now. Thank you. And then move on to something else. This is really fast, really quick. Smile. It's the 3 parts. Stop them, let them know what's unacceptable, and we're not doing this anymore, thank them and move on to the next step. It's pip, 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 just like that. It's not this long, drawn-out conversation. Children can't have those anyways. You don't sit there, now sit down and look at me. They're not going to do that. You're holding them hostage. That's not going to work. So try my strategy. Don't give up on the first or second or third try just because it's not smooth and comfortable as the way I'm explaining it. I've been doing this for 20 years, so of course I can do it with ease without thinking about it. But for you, it'll take a little time. But I support you, and if you have any struggles, comments, or questions, leave them in the section below, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.